Okay, so the ZIMSEC 600102 paper, May June 2020. Okay, the first question, part A1. It says what? Define the term principal budget factor. Principal budget factor is also known as a key budget factor or the limiting budget factor, right? So, also known as the key budget factor or the limiting factor. Okay, the limiting factor. So it means that it is a factor which will limit the activities of an undertaking. The factor which limits the activities. Okay, so it limits the activities of an undertaking. Okay, so they are asking list three principal budget factors. So the first budget factor could be limited demand for a product. So I would be writing limited demand for a product. The other could be limited number of machine hours. Then the other could be limited availability of raw material. So these are the factors of cost accounting. Now going further, the question asks the difference between a fixed budget and a flex budget. So fixed budget. So the first thing is the word itself is self-explanatory that it doesn't change due to any change in activity. So fix doesn't change Okay, so it doesn't change due to changes in activity, but flex budget or flexible budget changes. Fixed budget is static and flexible is what? The flexible budget is semi-variable. Okay, so our next question is the following information relates to Dubey Limited's production budget for the year 30th June 2020. 75% capacity, which is 75,000, is consists of this. So we have to prepare a flexible budget for 85% capacity. Now if I say 75% is equivalent to 75,000, so what will be 85%? Yes, we will be taking 1% is basically equivalent to what? 1000, and similarly 85% is equivalent to 85,000 units. Okay, so we will be making the 85,000 capacity budget over here in order to facilitate us. Okay, so looking at first of all the variable cost, right? So variable cost or VC. Okay, first of all is the materials, right? It is given 375,000 for 75,000 units. So this is, I am writing it down for 75,000 units. So for 85,000 units, what would be it? Right? We will be simply doing what? Dividing it by that, dividing this figure by 75 and multiplying it by 85,000. So we are getting a value that is 425,000. Then we have direct labor. Now for direct labor, again doing the same thing, we are getting a value 212,500. Okay, so again direct expense is 45,000 there and it is 51,000. Over here for heating and lighting, it was 3000 for 75,000 units, right? So 3400 for insurance, 4500. So dividing it by 75,000, multiplying 85,000, we are getting 5100. Then depreciation on plant 12,000 it was given. Similarly doing the same thing. For 85,000 units we are getting a value of 7,191,000. Okay, now what we have to add? We have to add a fixed cost. And the fixed costs are heating and lighting, H and L, and of water, and it is coming, heating and lighting is coming 2000. Since it is fixed, so it won't change, it will remain the same 17,500. Adding the values, we are getting, so we are getting a final value of 738,600. Okay, so we are getting a final value, that is the total cost of the flexible budget of 85,000 units. Don't forget to mention the units, right? Okay, I hope that this makes things easier for you. Do give your feedback in the comments. Okay, now they are saying the actual production for the year ended for 85,000 units, they are giving us the total cost, right? Now they are asking for the percentage change, right? Percentage change formula is final minus initial divided by initial multiplied by 100, right? So this is it for 85,000 units that they are giving us direct material value, right? So the value that we calculated from the budgeted, if you guys recall, it was 425,000. So over here we would be doing budgeted minus actual over budgeted value multiplied by 100. So the budgeted value that we calculated was 425,000. The value that they are showing is 430,000. Okay, and the final value that we are getting about of the budgeted that we had was 425,000 multiplied by 100. And we will be easily able to calculate the percentage change. It is coming in negative minus 5,000 divided by 425,000 into 100. This is cancelled and we are left with a percentage of negative 1.18 if we want to have till three significant figures. Similarly, for direct labor we will be doing the same thing. Okay, for direct labor we have 212, the budgeted value that we calculated 500 minus the value that they have given is 2 lakhs divided by the budgeted value, that is 212, 500 multiplied by 100. So and we are left with a value of 5.88% to three significant figures. Okay. Now for water we have to do the same thing. 26,000 minus 25,500, where I am getting this value, it is given over here, divide by 26,000 multiply by 100 and we are getting a value of 4.92%. Now they are asking two benefits of budgeting in an organization. So one of the first advantages is that it allocates appropriate resources to projects. Appropriate resources to projects, and the other benefit is that it improves decision making. Basically it helps in monitoring the performance. And how do you monitor the performance? You monitor the performance by looking at the revised budget, by comparing the revised budget figures with proposed budget. When you will do practical, you will come to know that first of all we have to send a proposed figure proposed budgeted figures, and then you compare it with the revised budgeted figures. Now the importance of a trial balance. State the importance of a trial balance. So it's pretty simple, right? So the main is it checks the arithmetical or the arithmetic accuracy of the ledger. Now they are asking you list 4 errors which are revealed by a trial balance. So what are those errors? Single entry. It is from the second or third chapter that you have in your book. Then we have casting errors. Then we have arithmetic error. Arithmetic error, right? And the posting the same entry twice. It is checked. Okay. Now, if we look at this figure, okay, Lee accepted trial balance or 31st the trial balance for 50,000 debit and 47,500 credit. The difference went to suspense account. Net profit for the year was 20,000. Subsequently, Lee found the following things. The purchase of motor vehicles 5,000 had been debited. Okay, depreciation is provided on motor vehicle. So we have to make the journal entries. This suggests that what we have to do, we have to make journal entries, right? Okay. So first of all, the purchase of a motor vehicle. Okay, journal entries. Okay, so first of all, debit credit. Okay, motor vehicle account. You have purchased motor vehicle. So motor vehicle is debited by 5,000. The asset has increased in terms of motor vehicle. And what has happened? Right? What has happened? You have bought a motor vehicle for 5,000. You have bought an asset. So cash debit, sorry, motor vehicle asset debit, cash, yeah, bank is credited. You paid 5,000. Right, that should have happened. But what actually happened, we will be looking at that picture. So instead what has happened, it has been debited to motor vehicle expense account. Okay. So what we will be doing, we will be crediting the motor vehicle expense account. Motor vehicle expense account should be credited because it has been wrongly been debited. And what has else has happened, 10% depreciation. So 10%, I'm doing it over here, 10% of 5,000 is what? 500. So this is the depreciation that you are calculating. So it will be passed into income statement. Okay, debited. Right? Why debited? Because income is by nature credit, right? If it increases, so it has been decreased by 500, and provision for depreciation has been credited by 500. I hope you guys are understanding this. Now what has happened in the second, commission received 400 has been debited to commission paid account. Right? So what would have happened? First of all, commission paid has been debited, we have to credit it by 400 because it has nothing to do with it. Now commission received, right? Income, so it should have increased. Increase means credit, so it should have be increased. So what will happen if there is no other entry? Then we pass the suspense. So suspense account 800. Now coming to the other part, the return of goods with a value of $600 to Anita. A supplier had been debited to Anita's account and credited in the sales account. Okay, so sales is debited by 600 and return outwards is credited by 600. Next entry, a debit balance in the sales ledger of 1,000 has been omitted. So it has all together been omitted from the books. Okay. So debit, on the debit we have a sales ledger, and on the credit we have what? Suspense of 1000. Next we have, I am just removing these entries, these previous ones, so that I hope that you guys have understood that those. Okay, then what has actually happened is that sales day book total 15,200, posted in the ledger is 12,500. So what is the difference between 15,200 minus 12,500? So it is a difference of 2,700. So what will be passing? Sales should have been increased. That's why I am making it as credit, because sales would have increased by 2,700 actual figure. So if this would have increased, then the suspense account debit by 2,700. Okay, I think that I have made all the entries clear to you. Feel free to give your comments. Okay, now we have to make the suspense account. So it's pretty simple. What do you have to do? Suspense account. Okay, first things first, balance brought down. Okay, it is 2,500. Sales ledger value, where it is was credited 1,000. Then commission paid 400, commission received 400, and sales 2,700. So the total value is 3,500 in each. Okay, now statement of corrected net profit. Now we will make first increase, then we have decrease, and then we have net. Okay, so NP as per income statement, it is given to us 20,000. Then there was a decrease in motor expense. Okay, so what will be the effect of the decrease in motor expense? When there is a decrease, so profit would increase. So that's why I would be putting it over here 5,000. Then we have depreciation of motor vehicle, 500 expense, so it will decrease the profit. Then we have decrease in commission paid. Okay, so commission paid 400, again decrease, and increase in commission received, so again income 400. Then we have decrease in sales of how much? Of 600, and increase in return outwards 600. So this is basically a cancelling entry, but we are showing it just for our convenience. And then there is an increase in sales of 2,700. So what is the total effect on the profit that we have to calculate? If we look at increase 5,000, and this is like 6,000, then we have 6,400, 7,100, this is 9,100. Okay, and this is only 1,100. So if we subtract the two, we are getting a net increase of 8,000, and so our corrected net profit is 28,000. This is really important, and it can be tested again in the next upcoming exams. Okay, now it says explain the treatment of the remaining balance in the suspense account which is not sufficiently material to warrant any delay to publishing accounts. So the remaining balance in the suspense account which is not sufficiently material would be treated as follows. It would be written off to profit and loss account, right? If it is current assets, so what will happen? In the statement of FP, SOFP, statement of financial position, that is balance sheet, right? So if these are current assets, it would be a debit balance. It would be a debit balance. And if these are current liabilities, it would be a credit balance. I hope that you guys have understood this. We will be continuing with the other two questions in the next video. Share this as much as you can. The classes are starting for the December session as well.